Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back for our second match of today's triple header. You're here in the Overwatch PIT Championship North American Group Stage action coming your way. We have just gotten started with day 2 of Group A. Total of 5 days per group, round-robin format. Top 4 teams will advance to the playoffs. I'm LD. I have the honor to be joined here today by Storm as we head to Numbani for our first map of this next best of 3. It's going to be Gale Force taking on CLG. How you doing?
As I had mentioned before, man, a rematch from a couple of weeks ago to determine who would actually get into this group stage. And CLG took a pretty quick 2-0 over Gale Force with these exact same teams, if I'm not mistaken. So going into this matchup, got to give the upper hand to CLG, especially since they took a map off of LG Evil the other day. Yesterday, that would be. Gale Force, of course, took a game off of Selfless as well, but I still think CLG heading into this one, they've got a little bit of the upper hand, especially since hydration is on that Pharah, and that's a key thing for this matchup. If Gale Force can't deal with hydration, they're going to be in for a long series.
Yeah, and that was something LG Evil struggled with when they played CLG yesterday as well, was hydration on the Pharah was just about right there with Jake in terms of the impact he was having. It came down to some incredibly close back and forth slugfest, I'll say, for them to ultimately prevail. And we're going to see WGB do something they did yesterday as well, going to the Torb for Gale Force once again. So we'll see how it works out, but the Torb yesterday, I think he was like 0 for 4, just did not have any success whatsoever.
We're going to see hydration go up, peel around the left side, actually. He's got the accompanying him. So, again, mentioned, it's going to be up to Bonnie and Clockwork, really, to try to deal with him. As he does spread out that Torbjorn, going to know that that's something to have to deal with. As soon as that's down, I think they're actually just going to look to move in off this one. I'm looking for iShiny to make his jump into that back line.
Well, Shrugger working towards the Dragon Blade relatively quickly. Getting some decent damage out, but still yet to see the big impact here. And hydration stays alive, which definitely is going to mean trouble for the poor Torb. WGB down on the low ground. And it's not going to go well for him. He'll end up falling. Clockwork, though, holding for now, might be the guy that can turn things around, but they just are not dealing whatsoever with hydration on the Pharah. This was the story of many of their games yesterday. He just frags out. No solutions.
Nobody does anything about it, man. I mean, we did see iShiny get taken down. He was a little too aggressive there. Muma was way in the back. Bonnie and Clockwork, of course. There's another pick for him. That's going to force the long spawn for the Ana player for Gale Force. And like I had said, if they cannot find a way to deal with the Pharah, this is going to be an impossible series, I think, for these guys. Especially, I mean, you know, we're on Numbani right now. If we were to head to something like Nepal for a King of the Hill map, for, you know, that, of course, that's a little bit down the road here, but that would be even more of a struggle, I think, for these guys. So we're going to see them get extremely aggressive off this, try to find some more picks.
Yeah, to their credit, they do fairly quickly switch off of the Torbjorn. Not going to try to stay on it any longer, as it just simply wasn't working at all. We'll see Shrugger handling the Genji for now, but hydration going to unload with the triple kill from the barrage. Finds quite a few. He will end up dying, immediately resurrected, and that might just allow them to push this cart all the way through to the second point uncontested. The Genji dies, Shrugger just trying to stall, but not even able to do it. So this cart
didn't even
really
have
rolls.
an opportunity to really get a team fight for that matter. It was just poke, tons of poke coming out there from hydration. iShiny and Miso, of course, were way up front. They've got 6 minutes to be able to finish out this part of the map. That is an unbelievable time, something you don't ever see. I've seen 5 minutes, I've seen 5:30s, but 6 minutes, that is incredible. There's so much time here for CLG to get something done. They're looking like they're in a perfect position. There's a Dragon Blade to get things started, though, from Shrugger. Looking for something. He's dangerously low. He might actually be taken out. Clockwork is the first to drop, though, for his score.
Muma, though, just pouncing up on, and down all over that cart, staying alive for quite a while, and this could be the beginning of a decent hold, as they will force the entirety of CLG back on their heels. But like you said, 6 minutes before that fight, still 5 minutes after, lots of ultimates coming. Hydration get a swap, though, off of the Pharah, and now onto the Hog. Feeling like this last point doesn't really lend itself quite as much to the Pharah.
Yeah, you usually see the first hold, if something like this happens, come through, you know, at that point in time. They've got ults to work with and try to get something done. Self-destruct from Misto, though, to get it started. Picks up the double kill into both supports here for Gale Force. They also find a kill onto Shrugger and Clockwork, as it's the tanks for CLG lighting up the kill feed here. They're going to finish off Boink and Muma, and that's going to be CLG finding themselves with another team one.
And already moving aggressively forward. CLG going to try to assume position here directly outside of the Gale Force base. Looking for the hook, unfortunately gets blocked by the ledge. Bit unfortunate there for Hydration. That could have been the game, or the side-ending hook, I should say. But he's still out in front, doing decent work here on the D.Va. Stalling okay, though, as Misa will find that kill on the on Bonnie. They are in desperation mode. Out comes the self-destruct. He's going to juke around the corner. Boink about to get back in the mech and continue to try to hold them back.
Use that sound barrier as well from WGB. Not a whole lot of damage was really punched into it. Dragonblade now out for Trugger. He's looking for something, finds the kill on the Mikado, and should be able to clean up the rest of this fight. It's a nice bio grenade from Bonnie. Was able to get onto the Roadhog there to help him finish that one off. So Gale Force do make the stand, yet 4 minutes still remains here for CLG.
Awfultastic in rather deep. Wants to run, hoping not to get staggered. Lucio going for it. But those projectiles don't. Even with the slight speed boost, still difficult to land on a Tracer at long range. So they'll make it back to safety. And they will reset. So looking at the next fight, we're pretty light on ultimates for both teams, but there is a nano boost. Whole Hog and Pulse Bomb not horribly far off. So we could see CLG with a decent ult advantage coming into this next attempt to close out the third point.
Of course, Boink on that Zarya here. Let's see what he can get done with it. I'm looking for Hydration to open this fight up with a pick. He's actually being melted down. Take a breather. Keeps him alive. There's a charge from Muma onto iShiny. Finds that second kill for these guys. This will shut down the next push from CLG. Find themselves another minute on the board. Gale Force, they need every second they possibly can get on the defensive side.
And now we're starting to enter kind of the more normal territory where you generally will arrive at that second point, start pushing towards the third. Only 3 minutes to go. So what looked like a disastrous opening has stabilized for Gale Force. Now the question becomes, can they fully hold? Can they give themselves a decent shot at just taking this on their offense? We're about to find out as the push comes. Shrugger going to have access to the blade, but they engage now with the Whole Hog. Hydration going in. They'll deflect what they can. He still moves forward. They're going to force out the sound barrier for now, trying to push in, find that additional pick, looking for Boink. They will manage to bring him down. The Tracer of Waffle-tastic getting into the backlines, doing some decent work here. He'll find another kill with the help of the Hog. Onto Bonnie, barely missing on the sleep dart, and now it's all up to Genji. It feels like to turn the tides, but he swings, he misses. He's not quite in range. They're still holding this one okay, though. His Hydration is not as far from his side of the map as you can possibly get. Out comes the D.Va self-destruct, and he dives right into a Shrugger. Will end up going down.
Yeah, he was just immediately taken down. CLG, I'm very surprised they're sticking in this fight. They will finally actually back out of this one. And something to note, I honestly was watching Clockwork at the start of that fight. He used attack visor. He got absolutely nothing done with it. It was into a defense matrix, and then as soon as we saw Miso move back, he was now on the Zarya, actually. I was into a sound barrier. Not a whole lot of value out of that one, out of the 76 at all throughout that fight. But nonetheless, he's back at 50% on his ultimate. They've got a Graviton Surge to work with, 130 to go. This is starting to look like Gale Force might be able to make a hold here despite having 6 minutes against them to get things started for this third checkpoint.
There's the grab, is going to bring in the tanks, and then comes the charge, perfectly comboed with the Ananate, a quick, decisive takedown, and still not going to let anyone sneak past Hydration, hoping to maybe push that cart while nobody's there, but Awfultastic, now the only one left around the cart. The stall, he's like, kill me, please, kill me. If you don't kill me, I'm going to kill him first. So Clockwork goes down, but Clockwork, he has the spawn advantage, so he's okay with that.
Yeah, I don't know about that from Hydration. He wanted, Waffletastic, he wanted a little bit of ult charge, I guess. He's now at 36%, but that's just wasting even more time. Maybe he could have, tried to jump off the map. Really not a whole lot for him to do in that situation. 45 seconds to go here. Not many ultimates from either side. Some are starting to come up for Gale Force. They've actually got a lot to work with now that we see Clockwork coming up here. There's an Earthshatter to get it started, though, from iShiny straight into the sound barrier. He gets put to sleep, though, and he's not going to have any value whatsoever off of that.
Oh, it looked like such a good shatter, but the clutch sleep dart to the rescue is going to enable a full cleanup by Gale Force. iShiny trying to just get off the map, but I don't even know if he gets back to the cart in time. May have to swap to something more mobile. Still looking like Gale Force going to hold here. Whether or not anyone touches the cart, pushing it in a much more difficult manner. There is a Nano Visor ready, preparing for the flank, it seems.
He's actually going to break it out right now here, looking for Waffletastic. Picks up the kill. No, take a breather. Keeps him alive for a few more minutes here. There's 2 kills in the bag there for Clockwork himself, who gets put to sleep by but I don't think it's really going to amount to too much. They've got a massive spawn advantage. iShiny trying for something here with a charge all the way downtown. Not going to find anything. He won't be able to make it back in time. And Gale Force, make a 6-minute stand between the second checkpoint and third checkpoint. Not something you see too often.
No, definitely not. And we saw a couple of swaps, but just nothing really working out for CLG. Felt like a lot of wasted time in between those points, with heroes getting staggered quite a bit. A bit unsure of what composition they wanted to go for as well. And quite a few situations where you would find like 3 CLG heroes way behind the Gale Force lines, but not getting kills, or they get 1 kill. And then they just take forever to die, which ends up actually hurting them in the end. So bit unfortunate how things turned out, but had they all gone a bit more together, perhaps they get an extra push or two. Perhaps that makes a difference. Still, impressive hold by Gale Force.
And that distance set is practically the third checkpoint. When I saw them make it the furthest, I think they were something like under a meter away from actually getting it. So Gale Force is going to have one heck of a push still if they want to be able to match what we just saw there from CLG's offense. You know, and I think a lot of that's going to have to come down to Clockwork stepping it up a little bit, as well as Shrugger. We didn't really see them making too many big plays overall, and I think those two guys are going to have to be big playmakers on the offensive side of things if they want to come up with a map 1 victory. And on the side of CLG, looks like they're going to be going with a Genji pick, a little bit of a dive comp on the defensive side.
Yeah, definitely a change-up. We have seen them. We have seen a decent amount of Pharah Mercy on defense, like LG Evil especially comes to mind. I think I did see CLG run it as well, but not going to be the case here. It will be, however, the Pharmacy on the Gale Force side. So some decent tools, certainly, to deal with that Pharah. You've got the Winston Bubble, the Defense Matrix. Ana, not as good as she used to be, but still okay with help from the Soldier at trying to force that duo back. So eyes on Clockwork now. Let's see what him and Bonnie can get done together.
I think a lot of attention is going to be diverted to trying to deal with Clockwork, but Shrugger is going to have to be one heck of a flanker, I think, for these guys as well. Getting into that back line, making sure that on the Ana isn't an issue for Clockwork. And if he can get all the way back there without being disturbed by Ice Shiny, this could be big for him. We see him make the dive right away here, getting into the back line. Look how far back these guys have been pushed to get things started there, all the way in the back corner near the spawn. Mikado with the first kill onto Boink there, gets him out of the mech, and that's going to be a good start here for the defensive side.
Yeah, almost at that first tick already, as it is being contested though. Jumping back on the Waffle-tastic. Muma starting to get a bit low as Clockwork tries to deal with this Winston bubble. They're going to lose Muma. They lose their primary tank. Winston just taking to the skies to deal with Pharah. Will successfully jump in, and although he dies, they take Clockwork with him.
Yeah, they got the tick. It looked like they didn't. It can sometimes be very difficult to actually tell whether or not they got the tick. So they did. So definitely a decent start for Gale Force. Of course, they would have liked to come up with a little bit more, but going with 1 tick is definitely a good start here. They're going to be sticking with that same composition. No reason to really make the change. Just need to make sure they don't die so early this time in that back line.
You can see Muma on the Winston starting the party as Miso going to jump in back onto him. Muma needs a bit more help to stay alive. Up to the high ground he goes. We'll try to retreat, reset, and live a bit longer. But now the fight breaks out in earnest. Here comes the aimbot from Waffle-tastic. Ice Shiny also assisting him during this time, so both Winstons duel it out in a Primal Rage smackdown, and both will survive, at least for now. Finally, Muma falls, so King Monkey for the time being. Waffle low and will end up dropping. Shrugger finishes him off, closing in now on the Dragon Blade. He gets the deflect off very low, but saved by the sound barrier. Up to the high ground from above. Clockwork rains down the pain with the barrage, but only kills the Diva out of her mech. That's about all he gets, and has to back away.
Yeah, I mean, you got to remember, Bonnie's now coming back into this fight. He has a Resurrect, and if he's able to keep himself up, they should be good. There's a Dragon Blade, though. Hydration trying to turn this one back around for his team. Finds 1 kill, looking for the next one onto WGB. Not going to be able to find that one. Bonnie has a Resurrect opportunity, only gets 1 back up. Shrugger, unfortunately, wasn't in the mix of that Resurrect, and CLG continuing to drain time off of the clock. We're at 135. They lose Clockwork. Hydration also going to be taken down. No ultimates for either side. The Waffle-tastic nearing his next tactical visor here. Just needs to make sure he keeps himself alive. Gonna go ahead and pop that one straight onto Muma into that bubble, but doesn't really find a whole lot of damage off of it.
Not getting anything. He wanted those delicious squishy supports and backliners, but finally is starting to carve up a bit more on this defense, and it looks like they are going to successfully hold. At least for now.
They went ahead and they actually used the Nano Boost on the Ice Shiny to secure that one. Whoa, Muma pops Primal Rage. He's going all out here. I don't like that at all. I mean, they have almost all ticks, but there are so many people from CLG still remaining in the area. The spot, yeah, he's just going to be forced to back off of that. That was just a misplay from Muma. They need a full regroup, and they're going to dive right back onto it, not giving up any progress. That's about a second away from being full cap. CLG must stay on this.
Hydration, he is going to pop the blade. Oh, they get the cap, nobody on the point.
Oh my
no.
Goodness. They were all running away from the self-destruct, but it was just not good coordination to figure out who actually could be able to stay onto it. And they give him now 3 minutes to finish this one out, but CLG are just in their spawn right now, tearing them apart. Resurrect as well comes through from Bonnie. They're popping everything.
They were gifted a bit there, but still, they're being hounded heavily. At this point, CLG realizes that, you know, it's really time that they're playing for, and they force them back into the spawn. It is still going on. Very aggressive push. Muma, in fact, committing the Primal Rage through this, just trying to beat them down. Dog gets hit into the corner, but won't end up falling.
No one told CLG that Selfless plays later tonight because they are playing so aggressive right now. I mean, they're past their spawn. They're completely past it. This is towards where they would they're defending for point A right now. This is unheard of right now. You don't see this ever.
They're ready for map 2. They're already spawn camping them on the next map. That's how deep they've gone. Holding the high ground at the first point. Everybody has to go for the full regroup, and Muma now onto the Reinhardt, but getting peppered from the high ground by Waffle-tastic. That Rein shield's relatively low. Almost dies, but not gonna end up happening. Hydration just diving deeper and deeper, looking for kills with the Genji Blade. And they reset on top of that cart, which has yet to move.
This is a new CLG, one I have not seen before, but one I am really enjoying watching here on Numbani. 140 to go, and the payload has not moved an inch. There's no opportunity for Gale Force to move in here. Shrugger is going to have to come out big with the Dragon Blade. Self-destruct, though, from Miso. He gets taken out, not able to get the reset here. They've got the numbers advantage. Now Shrugger with the Dragon Blade, trying for something. Finds the on the Ana here, and this should be finally Gale Force getting something moving.
Yeah, they will, but again, time really not on their side with the Torbjorn pick not working out. Gave up a huge advantage early on that push. We'll see if they can turn things around now that they are on offense. Only a minute to go just to get to the second checkpoint. But remember, if they do manage to finish the map, they will take it. Still within the realm of possibility here. But they can't afford to make too many mistakes with how much time they've got left.
But there's so much time here for CLG, who bought themselves over 2 minutes now, because that first checkpoint was captured at about 3 minutes remaining. And, you know, they bought themselves a lot of time to get a regroup here before this next one is actually captured. There's a whole hawk from Boink straight onto Ice Shiny, trying to push him off the map. Does he get back up in time? He does. Picks up the health pack here. Sound Barrier as well comes through. Clockwork with the Tac Visor picks up only 1 kill. Gale Force, having a numbers advantage, might find themselves with an opportunity to get this second checkpoint and move forward.
Yeah, Waffle-tastic going to go down. Crucially, he did have a tactical visor. Won't get to use it, though. Bonnie staying alive through it all. Heals the team back up. And the stall tactics continue, as we'll see, they'll just sacrifice herself on the cart. Cart will roll. It's going to hit just about overtime. It looks like they should get the second checkpoint. Just a couple of pushes available to them, though, so they're really going to have to make these count.
Not really going to look to aggress on this one. They're actually going to try to contest it. That's a surprising move here, but Waffle-tastic was immediately taken down after he popped his tactical visor. Now it's Hydration with the Nano Blade, picks up one, looking for another here, is able to find Boink in the end, trying to be the hero that CLG needs right now. They find Clockwork. The spawn is so far back for Gale Force. I don't know if they're able to make it back in time. Shrugger now picks up 3 kills, Dragon Blade, and oh my goodness, LD, they come back. Gale Force, in a desperate attempt, they get the second checkpoint.
Yeah, a minute, though, to go. A minute and 20 seconds to be precise. And looking at the ultimates here, Whole Hog is ready. That's pretty much it. Going up against the Sound Barrier, that should be negated. And a Primal Rage soon as well. Great stalling abilities, even self-destruct now online for CLG. So what looked like a horrible start has completely turned around through some scrappy play. Gale Force need to make, if not this fight work, then definitely the next one, or they will be dropping the map.
They're going to go ahead and pop a few ultimates. We see the whole arc from Boink. He's immediately dropped, though. The Sound Barrier from Mikado keeping the rest of his team alive, as we see a Primal Rage Ice Shining, just knocking them all over the place, basically making Shrugger useless here.
That's the fly swatter, Winston.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at 40 seconds to go. This is one final regroup. Even if we do see Gale Force take this next fight, CLG have so much distance with that payload to be able to get a full regroup for another one.
Yeah, that's where you can start swapping onto like Tracer, Sombra, just anything to get back on the cart and stall, and you'll have the spawn advantage. No mercy in this game. Here comes the self-destruct, trying to open things up. Is going to be harmlessly falling, but it forces them back. 15 seconds. That time is really all they care about at this point.
A little bit. I'm not the biggest fan of self-destruct to initiate fights, unfortunately, but Clockwork now with the Nano Visor picks up a few kills as Gale Force now turning this one back in their favor. We're not even going to need to see a stall comp from CLG because they've got so much time. If Waffle-tastic can be taken down here, they might as well just stick with these same exact heroes.
All right, Cart continuing to roll in, though. Somebody's got to get on it. Lucio just push it forward. Get in there. Get in there. Will anyone touch in time? Hydration desperately trying to get there. And onto the cart, they will go momentarily. Here comes the aimbot as Waffle-tastic tries to hold the line. Not finding any quick kills, though. There's a lot of beef to work through. He will bring down Muma on the Rhine. That's a huge one. Hydration also stepping up. It looks like they're just about there, but not quite. Shrugger tries to save the day. The antibiotic grenade slams the door. Now it's up to Clockwork, but he's getting pushed back in a way. Nobody's on the cart. They will be denied in the end. It was real close to just walking its way in, but good timing and patience there. CLG make their final hold.
That was one of the strangest games I've ever seen, honestly, in the pro scene, because CLG, the place that they held there on Numbani, you just don't see that after someone gets the next checkpoint. Now, you probably have teams like Selfless, you know, who are known for this aggressive defensive play style, being like, we didn't know we could do that. We're going to have to try that on Numbani later today. So I'm definitely looking for them, or maybe even like LG Evil, to try for something that in the future, like that in the future. But a very close one indeed. CLG coming through there and finding that first victory.
Oh, we've had some good games today, man. Everyone has been,
certainly have.
If not neck and neck, then there's always been something entertaining about them. Haven't really seen too many one-sided stomps. This was a back-and-forth struggle down to the very end. I will say, though, another loss, another like unsuccessful result for the Torb pick. The Torbs have just not been working out. I want Torb to work. I love Torb, but the Dwarf is just not having his day.
Yeah, wasn't really able to get a whole lot done there. I'm looking for what this second map's going to be. My biggest advice to Gale Force right now is stay away from Nepal. Just don't even go to a map that would even suggest the opportunity for a Far Mercy to come through from CLG. If you do, you're just opening up a window for them to be able to just come and sweep in here and take a 2-0. Of course, both of these teams are sitting at 0-1 in the standings. So you don't want to be dropping 0-2. You really don't. Both these teams really trying to battle past that, and we'll see what Gale Force wants to go with here. Of course, a lot of maps are open for more Far Mercy combos these days, but Nepal in particular, you know, King of the Hill for CLG, it's one of their fortes.
Yeah, now that said, Bonnie did have a really sick Zen yesterday. I mean, I don't think with how well the Farah Mercy combos have been playing, Hydration certainly and the work well together on that tandem. You could say like the Zen is a counter, but if anyone's going to be confident going against it, maybe they'll consider it. But yeah, it does feel like the Farah Mercy has just been too difficult for most teams to handle unless they go with their own Farah Mercy. Or devote the entire lineup to shutting it down, at which point, you know, maybe Waffle-tastic has a little more room to work with, or the tanks start making plays, and it puts you in a tough situation. So let's see. Next pick is going to be Volskaya. That's the choice for Gale Force.
And it looks like Gale Force also wants to attack first. And Volskaya, you don't really see a whole lot of Farah Mercy. I mean, it's not really the best for it. So I think it's a decent map pick for Gale Force, knowing that going into this one as well. On top of that, knowing that they're kind of the underdogs here in this situation, you know, like I had mentioned multiple times before, you pick 2 CP, it kind of evens it out a little bit. There's a lot more flexibility, you know, variability for what can really happen. Big upsets can really happen here. So I'm thinking Gale Force picked the right map. Now it's a matter of whether or not they can actually execute on it and try to even out this series 1-1.
Yeah, so Gale Force is going to be on attack to start things off, as we'll be hopping back into the map momentarily. Of course, guys, it is a best of 3 here. We're still in the round robin stages. You can take a quick look at the standings. Rise Nation, with the upset earlier today over LG Evil, will be now moving into first place in the group. The team that could join them after day 2, of course, would be Selfless, who close out the night playing against the new Complexity roster.
That'll be an interesting one as well. Got some other thoughts for that one as we get closer to it here. But like we'd said, heading to Volskaya for the second map here. And CLG looking to start out this day 2 here with the, you know, get their record up to 1-1, try to match themselves up with LG Evil, which you know, like I had mentioned before, I think this matchup is really big for kind of determining that 4th spot and who's going to be moving on into the next stage of the Overwatch PIT Championship. Because, you know, for my personal rankings, I think one of these 2 teams will be that 4th team. And I think a lot of it comes down to what's going to be happening right here. We'll see what they want to break out on the defensive side. Is CLG looking to go with a dive composition, putting hydration back on that Genji.
All right, and we've seen the dive still being a pretty popular comp, especially with a lot of the teams in this Group A. As of late, if it's not that, then it's generally a Pharah Mercy, sometimes both together. This time we see WGB at least playing around with the Mercy without the Pharah. That's something we've hardly seen at all, but of course that could well change before they actually leave the spawn.
Yeah, I'm not really sure if that's actually going to happen here, especially with what they're running right now. I doubt it, maybe. Who knows what they want to actually go with here. Of course, WGB is, you know, this guy used to play with Gale Force. He used to be on their main squad for the longest time, and then he went over to the coaching position. He was actually their coach for a few weeks there, and then they didn't really have a whole lot of success. Comes back into that support role and is a big player for Gale Force. He's actually now on the Lucio here. So let's see, as a pretty similar composition. It's not identical by any means, since Bonnie is going to be on the Zenyatta.
Yeah, no Pharah Mercy this time around, but Miso still running the D.Va. So we'll see which way they want to make that initial poke into the site. For now, Clockwork sweeping around on the right, trying to creep in, find a backliner. Looks like he should be able to make it uncontested to the high ground. It's Shrugger drawing attention, but whether or not he can find a pick here remains to be seen. Still a bit unsure of which way he wants to poke in. Probably waiting for the call from Muma. When he jumps, the tanks are on the point right now, and they are going to converge up on the high ground. Nice pincer attack. They'll bring down Mikado quickly. Very clinical from Gale Force. They'll find 1 kill. Could well get more with Miso currently discorded. He's going to drop fast.
Good execution from Gale Force to get this one started. Now they're just going to play it pretty carefully. iShiny down. It's a 6-on-4. They might as well just dive into this one. They do want to be very careful, though. They find a couple more for themselves, and Gale Force, just like that, in about 1 minute, will be able to secure this point. They do know that the Ana is kind of sitting around the point here. Just need to take care of him. Finally, he's going to be taken down in an extremely quick capture coming out for the side of Gale Force.
Yeah, we've got a couple of heroes with just like a handful of % on ultimates, as we are going to see Hydration now manning the Pharah. So no Mercy to back him up, at least for now, as is quite close to a nano boost. Maybe considers a swap after that. So feeling like their previous composition did not really work, they are going to change it up.
Clockwork is way in the back here. He's looking for a pulse bomb opportunity. He's spotted out. Pulse bomb comes through, finds the kill onto the. That's a good start for these guys. They've got the numbers now to move in here. Blank as well with attack visor. He goes ahead and he pops it. It's straight into a defense matrix though. Didn't really keep his eye on that one and where Miso actually was. So doesn't find anything. Transcendence as well comes through from Bonnie. They're gonna blow everything right now, trying to clean this one up. Shrugger closing in on that Dragon Blade. This should be it. Primal Rage comes through from iShiny. He gets the nano boost as well. CLG have the spawn advantage, obviously, but it's going to be tough going up against that Dragon Blade.
Yeah, it is. They still have a Primal Rage to knock heroes off of the point as well. Waffle-tastic, almost dead, has to recall out of there, at least for now. They're going to bring down the Lucio of Mikado, quickly falling. So now out for the Hydration Mage, just anything to stall, turns into an Ice Block, and tries to buy a little bit of extra time for the team. Will it be enough, though? iShiny, his turn to run into the Meat Grinder. They're about to get that first tick and moving on to the Genji, but everybody currently alive. Finally, Shrugger will go down. Clockwork does have to get back to the point, so they're down 2 for now. However, Muma answering back, still capping, now really starting to gain momentum on the point. It looks like this should be a take. Maybe a bit more stall, but a full stop seeming unlikely now.
I mean, Hydration is on here. The goal here is to run in 1 by 1. There's the kill coming out onto the Mei. They still have Miso in here. Attack visor coming out from Boink. Again, self-destruct is out. Does he find anything? He gets Muma. Boink, though, returns with one of his own onto Mikado. This is a terrific stall coming through from these guys. I think CLG might be able to push them back. They find a few more kills. Only 3 remain on the point here for Gale Force. It's all about the stall mechanics, thanks to the Mei, thanks to the D.Va and the self-destruct.
Oh, what a headshot by Hydration. The flick shot Mei at point blank on Clockwork will bring him down. Also crucially there, unfortunately, Clockwork, his pulse bomb got eaten up by the D.Va, so Miso able to deny him, and that might have just been the difference maker. Hydration now, he's close to a Blizzard, and on these types of maps can easily just spell doom for the offense if you drop the Blizzard at the right time. So they might have just guaranteed themselves not just that hold, but the next one as well.
It's certainly possible. Boink had 2 tactical visors in that last fight. Here's the Dragon Blade to get it underway for Shrugger, looking for something into the sound barrier. Mikado keeps himself up for the time being. Finally, Shrugger comes through with 1 kill, but at the cost of losing 3 to 4 teammates' lives. It's pretty back and forth, but of course, the trades are heavily favoring the defense, which will be CLG again holding on.
Yeah, they didn't commit too much there as far as ults go. Really just the support ult with the sound barrier. So they're going to have quite a bit for this next fight. They still have the Blizzard to work with. Pulse Bomb ready as well. Some potentially easy setup there. And of course the Primal Rage for stall. So still looking quite good here. Almost looked like an immediate 2-point cap, but that is not going to be the case.
Still 5 ultimates coming up here momentarily on the side of Gale Force. Sound barrier to get it started. Blizzard is out here from Hydration. Does he freeze any up? He gets WGB. No kills though. Tac visor now from Boink. Finds 1 pick on a Miso. Gets a second onto Hydration. They clean it up. And this should be it. Pulse Bomb though picks up 2 kills. Waffle-tastic doesn't make it back to the point in time. 3:23 in the tie bank for Gale Force.
Pretty solid time to get the second point in the end. It could have been like a kind of a pace-setting one, but it's still with 3.5 minutes or so to go, decent chance they could get up to 4 here, assuming a similar level of defense. So overall, very good showing on the offense for Gale Force.
I mean, that very well could have been Gale Force getting that second objective with 5 plus minutes to go. I mean, they had so much time after the original capture, but the incredible stall from 2CP coming through there from CLG, getting themselves, putting themselves up to 223. That is easily matchable, if not beatable. So they have to be pretty content with where they're at. On the other side, though, Gale Force as well have to be happy they finished out the map, which can oftentimes be very difficult on 2CP, and then 3:23 in the time bank. So both teams have to be feeling pretty good right now. It's honestly going to come down to what CLG can do to get started on this point A. If they can find a similar time to what we saw there from Gale Force, in that it was like about a minute or so, they're going to be setting themselves up for a pretty good pace.
All right, well, when in doubt, just bring out the old Pharaoh Mercy. So Hydration, and thus showing that, at least for now, has been a big tool in their arsenal. And at least with the current composition, doesn't really look like Gale Force is particularly well equipped to deal with it. Certainly good at not getting killed by the Pharaoh Mercy, but shooting them down, quite another matter.
On the defensive end, though, it looks like they're going with a pretty standard setup from what we saw from them before. No crazy change-ups by any means. They want to be sticking Clockwork back on the 76. He got a lot of work done there last time, as well as Shrugger on the Genji. Some decent Dragon Blade kills from him. So I like what I see from Gale Force. It's a matter of executing it against Hydration. As I said, this is the guy you've got to deal with, and if they don't manage to do so, I would not be surprised to see CLG taking themselves, bringing out a 2-0 series lead, but it's all up to this Pharaoh Mercy combo, I think.
All right, already Hydration laying down the artillery from up above. Boink eating up as many of those rockets as he can. That's going to open things up on the ground where Waffle-tastic starts to sneak around. He's going to find that Genji. Already has to commit the deflect just to stay alive. They start to dive in a bit deeper. Hydration now worming his way through the upper hallways. Boink still eating up everything he's dishing out, though. Waffle-tastic searching for kills. They're going to bring down Bonnie. That's a big pick on the Ana. Now 2 supports down. This site is crumbling. Clockwork's going to be next. The Pharaoh Mercy, not really the big killers in that fight, but they just draw so much attention. Can they finish this fight off, though? Hydration's pretty low. It's going to come back in, and Boink being D-Mech should give a little extra room to work with. Shrugger, really the key hero to keep this fight in play. He's going to fall. Now Miso, well, not long for this world, but should be able to get back in the mech.
Pretty similar time. Exactly. It's about, honestly, I think that might have been a couple of seconds quicker than what we saw from Gale Force.
I think it was about like 15 faster, so.
Yeah, they're doing it just exactly what they needed to now. 650 to work with. They've got a lot of time here to get something done. This is the most dangerous push here for Gale Force. They don't have anything other than a Primal Rage from Muma. Shrugger coming up on a Dragon Blade. We'll have to see what CLG wants to do here. Waffle-tastic going to have to open this one up with a nice Pulse Bomb if they want to get things rolling in their favor.
Yeah, we'll see who the target is. Would love to find that Ana. He's going to triple jump, and he drops the bomb. Doesn't quite connect, though. Meanwhile, Shrugger, very close to a Dragon Blade, is they're going to lose thus. So not only the failed Pulse Bomb, but now down the Mercy. Not in great position at this point to take the point. They'll still try. The Diva Bomb comes in. Shrugger getting jump, but manages to stay alive. Kills off the Winston. Clockwork closing on a pulse bomb of his own, but will be finished off by Waffletastic. Big pick there. Hydration also staying alive, at least for the time being, laying down rockets from above. It's going to find a direct hit as Shrugger comes back down to earth and now unloads with the rocket barrage. Nothing to eat him up. Diva's out of mech, still kept alive. Very nicely done. Cleaning up kill after kill. Even Lucio getting the boop. They hold.
They can't deal with Waffletastic. He has been roaming free on the Tracer the entire time, man. No opportunity for anything to be done with the Dragon Blade. Hydration, another couple kills. Finally, Shrugger unsheaths it, looking for something here. He picks up one, finally was able to deal with Waffletastic as well. Picks up the Resurrect. They've got all 6 back in here. He gets Waffletastic out there. There's a Pulse Bomb 6 onto Muma. He's finally going to be taken down. They're just a couple of seconds away from coming through with an extremely quick capture as soon as they get rid of this.
They do have a self-destruct here. Tracer also has the pulse bomb. This could turn. Doesn't get anything with the self-destruct. Mercy still sticking around. Not all that close, though, to a resurrection, so it's really going to be up to Hydration to find these kills together, as you mentioned, with Waffletastic. Just continues to dash all over the point. Nobody able to deal with him. Braining down WGB. Kill after kill. Delicious Waffles, indeed.
Get back! No!
So close.
Gale Force. Oh my goodness. Muma was in the back corner and the Diva was just like honestly, I don't know how close it was.
Like her foot wasn't on the point, but like that bulge of the mech suit was kind of leaning out over it. Her, fat belly, so to speak.
On the point.
But the feet weren't.
Oh man, that is rough. 458 to 323. I mean, honestly, that's not that much of a difference, but it is a decent difference, if you talk about how many pushes they're going to have in the grand scheme of things.
All right, so a significantly faster time now. We'll see CLG back on the defense. Round number 2, let's begin. So pretty decent edge right now for Gale. For CLG heading into the second round of attack and defense.
And I don't think we're going to see anything really change up from either side. Actually, no. On the defensive end, CLG actually going to be going with this Far Mercy setup. This is not what they were. I don't think they ran this before, if I'm not mistaken.
On the second point, I think he swapped, right? But not on the first.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll have to see if how they're really going to be able to deal with it here because, honestly, I'm going to go out on the limb and say why hydration wasn't the issue there for Gale Force. It was Waffletastic. He was just unloading on those guys, especially that point B, and they've got to figure out a way to deal with them. Boink now going to be on the 76 rather than Clockwork, who's now on Tracer here. So going with that triple DPS setup again, putting Muma back on the Winston to try to get things started and get those guys separated.
And they don't have that much verticality from their DPS here. Just the Genji Winston who can get into the back lines. So we'll see who jumps first. Muma just hanging around. He's going to leap up on the high ground, but has to be careful about hydration. Quickly jumping away. iShiny is going to go down relatively early in this fight. Now hydration trying to find the Zen behind enemy lines. So kill off Bonnie, so that removes one of the big threats to the Pharah. Chasing Shrugger, who has the deflect going. Oh, a wayward rocket gets deflected back towards his Mercy. Got to make sure to keep her alive. Both DPS working on her. Can they finish her off? Is going to go down. Ooh. Hydration quickly thereafter. And now Miso out of suit. Unlikely to live much longer. Carved up by Shrugger. Quickly dealt with. And the Pharah Mercy just not working out here on the first floor.
A battle of the two offenses seem to be what this match is all about here on Volskaya Industries, as they will have about 2:45 to actually push through to this next checkpoint, which, given the amount of time they had last time, it's pretty similar. Let's just hope this time around CLG, for CLG's sake, they don't give up 2 ticks immediately, but they were able to stall out quite a bit of time last time. Not many ultimates coming up through from both teams, though, but Clockwork as well, ready to go with the Pulse Bomb in just a few seconds. Let's see if he can find any picks.
Muma just trying to eat up all that pesky Pharah damage, but eventually gets demech'd. Waffletastic getting very close to a Pulse Bomb, but is on the low ground. Doesn't have the easiest targets. Oh, walks right into a Helix rocket. Has to be careful as out comes Shrugger with the blade. What can he get done? Once hydration, just can't quite jump high enough. This Gengu lacks the ups, and hydration will deal with him, shuts him down. And they will, at least for now, be able to mount a good defense.
Not much of a danger there, I don't think, coming out from Gale Force. They really weren't grouped up. Clockwork tried to peel around the backside, look for a flank with the pulse bomb, but there was no real good opportunities for them to use it. And thankfully for CLG, you know, they've got 6 ults coming up on the other side. There are 4 ready to go. Shrugger used his Dragon Blade in that last fight, like you said, just didn't get a whole lot of value out of it. 135 is not much time to work with if you're Gale Force. So you got to make sure these next few pushes are really all-out efforts, because, you know, sooner or later it's just going to have no time on the board here as things get underway. There's a barrage from up top, though. Hydration finds nothing into the Transcendent.
Yeah, both sticky bombs also missing. Both teams with quite a few key abilities as Blink will find the kill on that Pharah. And now gets off the tactical visor. Has to duck behind cover, though, because of Misa's self-destruct. So they are starting to make some progress onto this point. The already has committed the res, doesn't have it for this fight, so now needs to back away. Boink getting pushed off of the point, at least for now. Gale Force gonna have to reset.
Nice shiny all the way in the back line here near the spawn, dealing with Boink on the 76. Boink was a big threat there, and like you said, Miso, with that self-destruct, really zoned him back and made it so that tactical visor was virtually useless. Immediately, Miso was actually taken back out of the mech, but they hold on strong here. 37 seconds to go. 2 ultimates to work with. If you're Gale Force, Shrugger has to come up as a big playmaker again with the Dragon Blade if they want to make the, you know, be able to find that second checkpoint and put 4 points on the board.
Yeah, Dragon Blade not going into any support ults, at least not as the fight gets underway. Could be the difference maker. Is going to unfortunately walk right into iShiny. Doesn't like the taste of that taser and has to back out. Still searching for a good opening. Waffle-tastic. Perhaps the guy will actually get the party started, as he does just about have a pulse bomb. So too does Clockwork. Where's that pulse bomb? He's like, give me the damage. Doesn't quite have it, unfortunately, where Shrugger has the Genji Blade, but he's only managing to hit a Diva mech during this time. Not the most effective. Meanwhile, Hydration having a lot more success finding kills with the Rocket Barrage. And now onto the point, back onto Shrugger. Blows him up too. A bit late there to keep him alive. The Diva not quite able to do it. And now just punching through Clockwork after the Rocket had already done its work. Into the Winston bubble. Nice and safe. Toasty inside. Won't even get back in mech. Gale Force denied.
Yeah, I mean, they even had a Mercy Resurrect if they needed it from CLG, but not going to be the case here as they hold them to 3 points. And all CLG will need is to put up 2 more if they want to find themselves taking this series 2-0. Still an opportunity for Gale Force to win or even tie it and move it to a game number 3. As, you know, the Shrugger, like you had mentioned, something I kind of want to point out from that final fight is Shrugger's Dragon Blade. Not very effective at all. It was all of his, you know, his strikes were onto a Diva mech. Got the Diva out of the mech. Eventually was able to follow up with a kill, but not the kind of Dragon Blade that I think he was hoping for.
Yeah, they were just so spread out. You know, there's no real control, no Rhine, no Zarya, nothing to group heroes up, or even an Orisa potentially set up for those multiple hero slashes, and just couldn't find an easy pickoff. So good job of spreading. And definitely made things harder, as we are going to see a big change up here. Look at this storm. Out comes the star-crossed, I'll call him, Torbjorn, and to go with it, even an Orisa. Saw this also yesterday from Gale Force. Didn't work then either, but perhaps they'll have better luck this time.
This is okay. All right. Well, let's see how it works out for him, because you know what I have to say about this, LD, is that, you know, CLG made such an impact to get things started last time. It was so quick. This could either go south immediately with Boink and WGB just being dealt with right off the bat, and, you know, giving CLG like 4 to 5 minutes to work with for the second checkpoint. That's definitely not how Gale Force wants it to go. So this is a big hit or miss for these guys as they do spot out that Orisa pick.
Yeah, they see the Orisa. They probably expect the Torbjorn at that point. Clockwork trying to cover the flank, but can't deal with the Pharah Mercy by himself. Already, Bonnie's out of position. Getting chased out will be the first kill to open up this fight. Clockwork could well be next. Runs back to the safety of the turret, but the turret dries very quickly. Hydration just dealing with the Torbjorn picks with ease, and that Orisa shield no good when you come from behind it. Kills off the turret a second time. Now Winston's like, screw this, Pharah. I'm going to try and deal with her. I've got jump jets, but he crashes back to earth. The rockets continue. It's Clockwork, though, is managing to clean up, keep things in play for Gale Force, and maybe salvage this hold.
There's still an opportunity for them to hold on here. Hydration is still in the mix. Clockwork, though, he's going to be chased down here by Ice Shiny. Shrugger now under a lot of pressure as well. Deflect keeping him alive for the time being, but Ice Shiny's just going to get pretty aggressive out this one. They still do have Muma trying to get some kills here. He's trying to get a little bit of damage in the mix, but CLG have that spawn advantage now. They actually end up losing their Lucio. Muma finally will be taken down. Boink tries to get something done here with the Orisa pick. He's eventually going to be taken down, and CLG will get the third point on the board.
Oh, the great Torbjorn experiment. Just not paying off. But they are going to swap off of it. The Orisa gone as well. And over to the Hog. So triple tank, the choice for Gale Force as we start to work on the second point. Nearly 4 minutes just to get that single capture point completed. So quite a bit of time now in the bank for CLG.
A lot of time to work with, like you had said. They've got 4 to 5 ultimates coming down the pipeline here in a matter of moments. Movement going to be the first to drop. Not a good start for these guys. There's a barrage from Hydration straight onto the Diva. He picks up the kill on the Shrugger, and they find another onto Bonnie. 330 still to work with. They still have a self-destruct to zone him off the point if they need it. They should be able to at least get a tick or two before anyone's able to contest. Muma pops a Primal Rage here. He's trying to be the saving grace for this team, but I don't know how long he's going to be able to last.
Even Boink going to be coming in and suddenly swapping up to the Sombra. Just desperation stall tactics, but they've got to pull this off for 3 minutes. And by the way, there's a res to work with. This is going to be a tall order for Gale Force eSports as Waffle-tastic starts to carve up those heroes in the backline. Finds one, make it 2 with the pulse bomb, getting the job done for the team. Still Hydration alive as well. The res did get committed, helps to keep this push sustained, at least for now. Barrier dropped by the Winston, but he's one of the few surviving heroes for Gale Force. Clockwork has a pulse bomb, sticking around for now.
Liso gets back into his mech with 1 HP, man. He barely was able to keep himself alive there. He hasn't even used self-destruct because he got hacked originally by Boink on the Sombra, so there was no opportunity for him to self-destruct when he was out of the mech, or excuse me, when he was being taken out of the mech. And Hydration, though, finding 2 kills here. They still have Sound Barrier. They've got another Rocket Barrage from Hydration. He breaks it out, finds a kill onto Shrugger, making a second one down to Clockwork. I don't see any way that Gale Force is going to be able to hold on.
They're trying for all they're worth. Sombra cleaning, and now the Winston coming back into the fray. Hold that thought as Muma is going to be able to stall for quite some time, courtesy of the Primal Rage. By the way, there might be a second resurrection as this 2 control point battle rages on. Now onto the Mei for Boink. Clockwork sticking around, has a pulse bomb. There's the self-destruct, has to get out of line of sight. They're going to need this pulse bomb to connect. Finds the Mercy, brings her solo. 1 clip, not quite enough. Second clip gets the job done, though. Didn't have the resurrection just yet. Now the pulse bomb coming out. Clockwork stalling for all his birth. But now if they can get damage on the Hydration, it would be more permanent. But it's just the tank standing on the point. The Winston barrier is about to break. The Diva running out of any ability to absorb shot. Shrugger about to get demeched here. But May's going to come back in. Maybe Boy can get there in time. No, pushed back by the Pharah.
Immediately taken down, man. Thus almost back in this fight, too. Thus had 3 resurrects throughout this fight. Mikado was taken down. Another barrage, the 3rd barrage from Hydration. It doesn't matter. It was about a 2 to 3 minute team fight.
Jesus.
CLG locking the map, and they are going to be able to take this series 2-0.
Yeah, that was a tall order to hold for that long. When you start those 3 minutes with ult disadvantage, they get 5-6 heroes on the point, have a res. You have to trickle in, get picked off one by one. They still made a good showing of it, but a pretty convincing win here in the end. CLG going to take the series 2-0, and I think, for Gale Force, we talked about it, is a new lineup. Still some growing pains to work out.
That was an unbelievably long team fight. So many ultimates coming through from there. Gale Force, the struggle is real to be able to hold on there. We saw it from CLG earlier when Gale Force made their push, but no comeback there, and CLG, like you said, taking the series and moving themselves up to 1-1 in the standings, tying up with LG Evil. That will move Gale Force down to 0-2, unfortunately.
Someday Torbjorn will work.
Hey, it has worked in the past. It has worked in the past. Very niche pick, unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, I was loving it when we really saw the rise. I think it was in Apex, right, where we saw the rise of like the Torb Symmetra as kind of a pocket strat, and then everyone started adopting it, but with the departure of Symmetra, I guess the overall Torbjorn viability seems to have waned a little bit. I do like to see teams experiment, but just doesn't seem to be working, at least not in these matches. Maybe somebody will crack the code. But for now, guys, that is going to wrap up our second of 3 matches on the day. After a short break, we're going to come back. It's going to be Complexity 0-1 taking on Selfless 1-0. And if you want to count the open qualifier, a team that's racked up a lot of wins to get here. So thank you all so much for joining us on your Friday evening. I'm LD. He's Storm. You can follow him on Twitter at GameWithStorm. We'll be back after a short break as the Overwatch PIT Championship North American action wraps up for day number 2. Stick around.